Okay, it is 12:01, so I want to be respectful of everyone's time. Again, thank you all so much for showing up today. My name is Dr. Brittany DeRecha. I serve as the Member Services Manager for individuals here at Move United, and I also oversee the Warfighters and Ambassador program, which falls under individual membership. So I've probably communicated with all of you at some point. If you're new to us, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This will be a general overview of what you can expect for the year. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Come off of mute. You can stop me in the middle of the presentation and we can talk about them, or you can hold your questions till the end. I just can't see everyone on my screen right now, so if you come off of mute, if you could just let me know your question, that would be super helpful. And then we will go from there with this. So, again, thanks so much for being here. So, just as a general overview, Move United's mission is to provide national leadership and opportunities for individuals with disabilities to develop independence, confidence, and fitness through participation in community sports, including competition, recreation, and educational programs in more than 245 locations in 45 states. So, our big overarching goal is to get as many people acclimated in adaptive sports as we possibly can. Our goal is to have a member organization location within 50 miles driving distance across 90% of the country. So I believe we're just under 80% right now. So we are working our way towards that goal of getting to our 90%. But just so that you all know, right now we have 245 locations in 45 states and we're growing every day. So we want to continue that growth so we can get as many people integrated in adaptive sports as we possibly can. Member services staffing. The member services team is made up of Dr. K or Dr. Kaylee McCauley Sayer, the director of member services. She is the overarching umbrella of all of member services. My name is Dr. Britt or just Britt, whatever you feel comfortable calling me. Again, I'm the member services manager for individuals, but I also have oversight of the Warfighters and Ambassador program here at Move United. Dana is the manager for member organizations. So those 245 organizations I was just talking about, Dana has direct oversight of. And then Ryan is also on our team who oversees the insurance and risk management program that we have here at Move United that our member organizations can tap into if they're interested in. So that is the member services team. We will eventually have a point of contact specifically for the Warfighters and Ambassador program. The position is currently vacant, but we're hoping to hire someone soon. So more to come as that comes out, but for right now, this is our team. So, good standing requirements. If you are new to us, this may be new to you. If you're returning, these are the same requirements that we implemented last year. So, you need a current background check that is completed every 5 years. Just for your awareness, your background check is rerun automatically every 2 years. So, there's nothing that you need to do on your end for this to happen. This is just an automatic check that goes out every 2 years. And then at the 5 year mark, you have to recomplete that background check. So you should have gotten an email from me if you need to renew your background check. If you haven't, then you are good to go on the background check. You don't need to worry about that. But if you are in need of renewal, please make sure to complete that. Be checking your emails because we send a lot of communication via email, and that's the best way to stay up to date with that. We also ask that you remain compliant with the sport protection policy and safe sport certification every year. So I know that it can be a little bit daunting to go through the 90-minute course. It used to be 2+ hours long. They've since um, shortened the course, which is really great. So after you take it the first time, as your core course. Every year after that, you'll take a refresher. It's for 4 cycles. So after that fifth year that you come up on, you'll take the core course again. So you only have to take the 90-minute course once every 4 years. The other courses are about 30 minutes long. And again, just a refresher so that you stay up to date on Safe Sport. David's asking, is it possible to import Safe Sport Cert from US Climbing or another organization? Absolutely. If you already have a valid Safe Sport certification, we're not going to ask you to recomplete it. We don't want to waste your time, and obviously, we don't want to pay for something that you already have current. So, if you already have a Safe Sport certification, if you could please just email me a copy of the Safe Sport certification from your other organization, that will make you compliant in the safe sport category. If you don't have it with another organization, that is perfectly fine. We will enroll you in Safe Sport and you'll get an email about that so that you can complete that on the member hub, which I'll talk a little bit about later on in this presentation. So again, you all should have my email address, but if you don't, I'm going to pop it in the chat here. It's bderecha, Derecha at moveunitedsport.org. Again, that's in the chat for you. If you ever need anything, you can reach out. I'm happy to work with you to navigate any of that. And then the last item that we ask that you participate in to remain in good standing are your ambassador engagements. So we ask that you actively participate in at least 3 official Move United ambassador roles designated by Move United or veteran-related engagements annually. This can look like Move United asking you to host a table at an expo event that we're running to promote adaptive sports to the veteran population. This can be you giving a presentation on adaptive sports for an organization or for a university. This can be you mentoring another veteran in the community. I mean, the examples are limitless. As long as it has some form of veteran related engagement, it will likely apply to your yearly engagements. Most of you are doing well over your 3 engagements per year, and you're welcome to log as many as you want, but we just ask for those specific 3 and then complete a minimum of 2 Move United Ambassador training sessions. And this can be the office at the monthly office hours or the monthly ambassador trainings. So today, for example, as long as you're present here, this counts as one of your engagements. So please make sure that you log it. Yes.
Question
Sure.
about
How you doing?
am I am I
Oh no, you're
unmuted?
good. I just said, how are you doing? You're good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
No,
good. How are you?
that's
I'm good.
okay.
Question about the engagements. So if you are part of the mentor mentee program, do those count as engagements when you have a session with your mentee?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
great
thought so, and I
question.
kept forgetting to log those.
Yes. So the main part here is that exactly what you just said, that you have to remember to log your engagements. And again, most of you are doing well beyond year 5. And I'll talk a bit about the mentor project grant that was just mentioned in a little bit. But if you're working with veterans in the community, that counts toward your engagements. You just need to log it. And when you go into the yearly engagement activity to log your activity that you've done with your veteran engagement, it will give you a few examples. So I think one of the examples is going to a golf range with another veteran on the drive range and shooting golf balls with them. That could count toward your veteran engagement. We just want to see that you're actually engaging in the community with other veterans so that they can get integrated into adaptive sport, but also that you're staying relevant in the field and what new incoming veterans might need from you or might want to see from Move United. So it really is just a connection piece there. And like you said, just remembering to log those engagements. And we'll go through exactly how to log those in a bit. Thanks for the question. Let's see. Okay, so Amanda's asking, so we could do a veteran engagement outside of Move United, like being at a table and talking about sports or go to sporting events and work with them. Yes, absolutely. So you can request materials from us, which I'll also talk about in a little bit. But you can do your own tabling. So if there's an event in your local community that you want to attend and you think people need to know about Move United, you can absolutely pass out pamphlets, any of our written materials, swag items, talking about Move United and recruit some of those folks back to us. That can absolutely count toward your engagements. We're not, we're not like super sticklers for verifying that you did what you said you were going to do. We're trusting that you are out in the community with other veterans, engaging with them. Obviously, if there is an event that Move United is putting on and we're asking you to be there, we expect you to be there. And there are some other parameters around that. But if you want to host an activity in your local community, absolutely. If you want to attend, we have plenty of sanctioned competitions that will be coming up in the spring. If you want to attend a sanctioned competition that's local to you and host a table, you can absolutely do that as long as, the event says that it's fine for you to be there. But yes, there really are no like quote unquote rules for what qualifies as an engagement aside from we ask it to be veteran related and something to do with adaptive sports. Kevin's asking, how do you log entries? We're going to go over that in a little bit, Kevin. I'll show you exactly how to find that. It's on the member hub though, so as long as you have an account and you can see the ambassador tile on your homepage, you should be able to access it. Jules, does coaching an adaptive sport clinic with a Move United partner organization, Dare to Try, Team Simplify, etc. count as well? Yes, absolutely. If you're coaching, that absolutely counts as long as there are other veterans on the team or you have veteran colleagues that you can speak to about Move United, even if they're a partner of ours, that can still count towards your engagement. So yeah, absolutely. And if you all ever have any questions outside of this forum, you can absolutely email to ask us if it would qualify, and we can give you some advice on that as well. Okay, so code of conduct. The code of conduct lives in the member hub. Again, you all should have a member hub account, an individual membership account. If you don't at this point, let me know so I can get you set up. It's free to join, so you don't need to pay, but as an ambassador, you have access to premium membership as a perk of being part of the ambassador program. It's one of the ways that we say thank you for volunteering your time with us. So if you'd like premium membership, please just send me an email. I'm happy to upgrade your account for you. But make sure that you're reading the code of conduct that's on the member hub so you know exactly what's expected of you. Most of it is you're going to act in a respectful way. You're not going to act outside of Move United principles, values, and the mission when you're interacting with other folks and conducting yourself on site, especially at our events, but also outside of our events. So if you have some time, I encourage you to take a look at that so that you know what's expected. We do expect that you understand that being an ambassador with us or engaging with us at any of our events is voluntary and does not constitute as employment. You agree to uphold the mission of Move United and our commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. You agree to treat everyone with respect and dignity and act honestly, ethically, while in the performance of Move United activities as a member. You agree to uphold the spirit of fair play by observing the written and unwritten rules of the game on and off the field of play, including but not limited to integrity, solidarity, tolerance, care, team spirit, and respect. You will not engage in illegal or criminal activity. You will comply with the terms of this code and other applicable Move United policies, including the Move United Sport Protection Policy, which the Safe Sport certification does go over. And you agree to comply with all applicable local, state, and federal laws while acting on behalf of Move United. So again, most are pretty obvious and most you are probably already doing, but we do need to re-emphasize these to make sure there's an understanding of how to represent Move United when you're out in the field, especially as ambassadors. You may be at events that are not Move United sponsored events, and people will recognize you as a Move United ambassador, or they'll see you at a Move United event one time and they'll remember you the next time. So even when we take the jersey off, quote unquote, we're never removed from being part of the team. So just keep that in mind when you're out in the field and how you're engaging with folks. You are a representation of us. We are a representation of you. And so we want to just make sure that everything is respectful. We're upholding the mission values, excuse me, and the spirit of Move United when you're out in the field. So the drug and alcohol policy is in the code of conduct as well. You are prohibited from using, possessing, buying, selling, manufacturing, or dispensing an illegal drug, to include the possession of drug paraphernalia. Illegal drugs include the possession or use of which is made unlawful under federal, state, or local law. Illegal drugs may include any of the following, provided that testing for such substances is allowed under applicable law. This can include amphetamines, cannabinoids, cocaine, PCP, barbiturates, and other controlled substances that are regulated under the Federal Controlled Substances Act. This does not include prescription medications, but it does include prescription medications that are not prescribed for the user or not used in a manner for which the purpose of it is prescribed, and hallucinogenic products not intended for human consumption and which have an impairing or intoxicating effect on the user. Drug paraphernalia means any material or equipment designed to test, package, store, or introduce an illegal drug into the human body, as well as being under the influence of any drug. So essentially, we have a no drug policy here. Please do not engage in any illegal drug use or buying, possession, selling, manufacturing, etc. We want, again, to make sure that everyone is in a sober state of mind when it comes to drugs, making sure that you are in a good frame of mind when you're out in the community and not making any poor choices when you're out there. In terms of alcohol, alcohol may be served at Move United functions, and we do not prohibit the responsible consumption of alcohol at events for those of legal age, but we do ask that you use sound judgment and moderation when you're at these events. So again, we don't prohibit anyone who's of age from drinking. We just ask that you act in a respectful manner, keep things casual, make sure that you're using your judgment and moderation so that things don't get out of control. We also have an anti-harassment and anti-discrimination policy. So Move United seeks to provide a safe, non-intimidating, productive environment and to comply with all applicable anti-harassment and anti-discrimination laws, rules, orders, and regulations. Examples of harassing conduct can be verbal, for example, slurs, jokes, insults, epithets, gestures, or teasing. Visual, for example, offensive posters, symbols, cartoons, drawings, computer displays, text messages, social media posts, or emails. Physical, for example, physically threatening another, blocking someone's way, etc. And online, for example, derogatory statements or sexually suggestive postings on social media platforms. Sexual harassment can include unwelcome and unsolicited sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, conversations regarding sexual activities, and other conduct of a sexual nature. So again, this is all prohibited. We do ask that you, again, just keep it respectful. We don't want anyone to fall into making poor decisions or in a situation that could have been avoided. So again, some of these may seem kind of menial, like I was just joking, but it wasn't a joke for the other person. So we just want to be very careful that we're creating an environment where folks feel welcome, they feel like they can show up as their authentic selves, and that we're avoiding any harassment of any kind or any discrimination when we're in those settings. Reporting and investigation procedures. So any violation of the code of conduct should be reported on site at Move United events if it's a Move United event or if you're at a partner event, or online via email. The email is membership@moveunitedsport.org. The Director of Member Services or a designee will conduct a fair, timely, thorough, and objective investigation for every concern. All reasonable efforts to maintain confidentiality throughout the investigation process will be used to the extent consistent with adequate investigation and Move United's legal obligations. All members are expected to cooperate with Move United's investigations conducted pursuant to this code. If Move United determines that this code or any other Move United policy has been violated, sanctions may be imposed. And again, you can find some of these sanctions in the code of conduct based on the the degree of the violation. We don't see these very often, but we sometimes do get reports. Sometimes they end up being nothing. Other times they do require a bit more investigation. But again, we want to make sure that everyone has a safe time when they're at our events or they're participating with our members. So this is just to keep everyone safe and make sure that there is a standard operating procedures in case anything does happen. Okay, getting to some less serious stuff here. The Member Hub, which I've mentioned a few times now, we have the website browser, which is hub.moveunitedsport.org, or we have the Move United app. This is where you can find your good standing requirement certification, which at the end I'll show you exactly how to navigate through. You'll also find a private group for ambassadors only. Usually it's at the top of the page, sometimes it's at the bottom, but it's listed under member huddles. Excuse me. This has events, a large group chat that you all are part of, and you have the ability to share your contact information with other ambassadors in the group. If you don't want to share your contact information, you absolutely have the choice to not do that. You would just not share your information on the select sheet. It will ask you, yes, share this information, or no, do not share this information. If you select no, that will automatically be respected, and other folks in the group will not have the opportunity to access your email or your phone number. If you do choose to share your contact information, other folks in the group will have access to both. So I would recommend making sure that your phone number and your email are up to date. If there's any issues with the email address on file, let me know. I administratively have to go in and change that for you. I don't think that you can change your email yourself, but you can absolutely change your phone number yourself. So that is up to you if you want to share your information or not. Sometimes we drop things in the chat. Usually we'll just send messages to the large group. So you'll get a notification on your app or when you log into the website that a communication was sent. On the homepage of the Member Hub, there is an ambassador tile on there, and there are three categories within that tile. Number one, grant applications. This is where all of the grant opportunities are housed, which we'll go through in a second. Educational content, these are courses that might be relevant to you specifically, or other educational materials that we've pulled from other locations that we think might be relevant for you. And then there's a forms/surveys section. So we often put feedback forms in here, or if there's a survey about, let's just say, what time you'd like to see ambassador trainings each month, that is something that would go in the form/surveys section. And then any communications from Move United staff come through the Member Hub. So this can be in the form of an email or a push notification if you have the app and you have your notifications turned on. Email is usually the way that we communicate with you all, but sometimes we do communicate directly through the app. You do not have a way to communicate back with us through the messaging system, but in that large group chat, you absolutely can put what you need to in there. We just ask that you be respectful and understand that everyone is in that group chat. So we try to keep it very professional in there. And then if you need to one-off message someone else in the group, you can direct message them so that it's a private chat between the two of you. Okay, ambassador funding. So we have the Warfighters competition team. This is a $500 award. The purpose is to provide adaptive sports competition experience to veterans who have never or limited experience competition. Warfighters will be paired with an ambassador who is experienced as a competitor to help guide through the sanctioned competition experience. The ambassador will serve as a mentor, providing advice and support prior to and on the day of competition. So if there is a sanctioned competition that you're interested in, the schedule has not dropped for this year yet, but it is my understanding that it will be dropping soon. So I think there are 20 plus competitions around the country. If you're interested in competing with a mentee and providing them guidance on the day of the competition, this would be a great opportunity for you to apply for. Some of you on this call have participated in the Warfighters competition team in the past, and it has been super successful. As you all know, your first competition can be very scary. It can be anxiety inducing. Everyone has a maybe a little bit different experience, but it's just nice to have someone who knows what they're doing, can give some guidance and be there on site. If you're a new ambassador to us and you are not comfortable being the mentor for a warfighter mentee, that's absolutely fine. We can also pair you with another experienced ambassador so that you can get some experience. And then maybe next year you can be the mentor and you can find a mentee to serve with. If you don't have anyone in mind who you want to compete with, that is also fine. We're happy to pair you with a warfighter in your same sport that's attending your same competition so that you can have some camaraderie, get to know them a little bit, but also compete together at that competition. On the flip side of that, we have the Mentor Project, which Candace was speaking about earlier. This is a $1,000 award, and essentially you lead a project to mentor other veterans with disabilities to get involved in adaptive sports in your home community. So Candace's project, for example, surrounded golf. This could be taking other veterans to golf tournaments. This could be taking those veterans to the driving range. This could be renting clubs so that all of the veterans have access to equipment. All of this can fall under the $1,000 award. We do ask that you keep it to travel related items, so flight, hotel, rental car, or sport specific expenses. This could be entry fees to competitions, equipment purchased that you and your mentees need to train, as well as any additional items that you might need for the project. So we're happy to work with you if you have a project in mind or if you need help conceptualizing a project. We can work together and see what might be realistic for you. $1,000 may seem like a lot to some, it may not seem like a lot to others. So we want to be realistic. We don't want you to try to boil the ocean, as they say. We want your project to be manageable and realistic and something that you can complete with success, but also get some other veterans in your community integrated into that adaptive sport. So, again, happy to talk through with you your project if you have an idea or something that you're already doing that we might be able to help support so that you can continue in the future. And then finally, we will have an ambassador spring training. The dates and location are to be determined. But essentially, what we do is 2 times per year, we have an on site ambassador training with sports specific experiences. So, for example, next week, I believe next Tuesday, we'll be headed to the National Ability Center in Park City, Utah to participate in skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, snow tubing, and then there will be on-site ambassador training similar to this. So essentially, we just want to gear you with the information and education that you need to be out in the community recruiting other veterans, while also giving you some sport specific experiences and some camaraderie with other ambassadors that you might not be able to see throughout the year. So keep an eye on the member hub and your email for the spring because we'll be putting out the dates and location for that once they're finalized. Some of the forms that live in the member hub that you may need to use for this year are the ambassador outreach and tracking form. This is used to collect information from veterans who are interested in receiving more information about the Warfighters program. So to be eligible for the Warfighters program, which most of you already know at this point, you need a permanent physical disability and you have to have some tie to service. So you can be an active duty member or you can be retired. But we do ask that you have a service-related component to your experience and that you have a permanent physical disability. So more information about this can be found on the website, but essentially, if you're working with anyone or you're communicating with anyone who wants to receive communication from Move United, you would use the Ambassador Outreach and Tracking form. On the other side of that is the Expo event form. This is used by ambassadors when they are assigned by Move United Member Services to represent as an ambassador at an event. used to collect data information on veterans whom they come in contact with. So, part of our expo events are we are tasked with going into the local community and setting up a table, for example. This could be at a competition, it could be at a VA medical center, it could be at a university. The locations depend on the situation, but essentially, the people that you come into contact with at the expos give us their information via this expo event form. This information gets passed on to the VA for grant purposes. So we ask for their first name, last name, email address, zip code, and if they are a VA employee or if they are a service member. All of that information goes directly to the VA at the end of our reporting cycle. The ambassador outreach and tracking form is the one that we communicate with folks. So if you're trying to distinguish between the two, the ambassador outreach and tracking form is the one where we will follow up with them. The expo event form is only to be used at expos to get the contacts to push on to the VA. Any questions about that? Hopefully that's pretty clear cut. These forms are located in the member hub though, so I'll show you where to find these as well. Okay, so expos and events. I said earlier that you're able to request materials even if you are not hosting a table at an expo. You can always request materials for us. Again, I'll show you where to find this in the member hub, but the link is hub.moveunitedsport.org/activities/24151. And this form will ask you what kind of materials you need, what's your most current address, how many people do you think you'll serve? This just gives us an understanding of what you need, when you need it, and where we should best send it. So if you need any materials, feel free to fill that out and we'll get that sent out to you. Request to attend events on behalf of Move United. This is at the discretion of Move United, and we are prioritizing veteran events right now. If you are participating in an event that's not a veteran related event, or we did not ask you to attend the event, you can count those events toward your yearly engagements. But in terms of the expos, for example, we have a list of locations where we will reach out to the ambassadors in that local area. We try typically to reach out to ambassadors who are within a 50-mile driving distance of the event. So it is typically location based and it can depend on budget and need. So, for example, if it's a multi-day event and you live 5 hours away, you may not be the ambassador that we reach out to ask if you can attend this event. We may reach out to someone else first who is closer to the location that could potentially drive back and forth each day. We do sometimes provide a hotel, depending on the length of the event and how far away you live. But again, this depends on budget and need. And then there are quite a few Move United events throughout the year that are very lucrative to ambassadors, like the gala that's in New York City and the Golf Congressional that happens in the Northeast. We typically prioritize folks who are closer in location to these events. So if you live in California or New Mexico or Nevada, you are less likely to get an invitation to those events, depending on what the budget is for the event and what the need is. So I hope that you would not take it personally if you don't get an invitation to some of these events. But we do our best to try to diversify who we invite each year so that there is some fairness while staying within the budget and the needs of the event. But if there's an event that you're absolutely set on that you absolutely need to attend, please reach out to us and let us know that you're interested in attending so that we can put you on our radar and recommend you for that event. We don't want to recommend someone for a congressional golf tournament who is a snowboarder, right? We want to make sure that it's relevant. We want to make sure that you're interested in it, and that you're going to have a good time when you're on site. So feel free to reach out, let us know what you're interested in, and then please don't take it personally if we don't reach out to you. We're doing our best to get you active in the community. And on the flip side, if there are events that you're participating in, we may not know about them. So if you want to pass those along to us and say, hey, just wanted to let you know this event is happening, it might be good for Move United to have a presence, we can absolutely look into funding your time at that event and creating a larger presence for Move United there. So we can't always do that for every activity, but if it is better and related, we do try to prioritize those. So it is worth reaching out about. Okay, travel. So there are a couple options for travel that you might experience with your time as an ambassador. So we do have a travel agent that we work with called Travelable. And Travelable may assist with or contact you regarding flights, hotel, and ground transportation transfers. Excuse me. Travelable usually books our accommodations for larger events. For smaller events, Move United typically books the travel. And we would reach out directly to you about your accommodations and which method we will be utilizing for which event. It is opportunity specific, so you could have Travelable one event and then the next event, Move United could be booking your travel. It really just does depend on the event and what's needed. But just so that you all know, Move United's preferred airline is Southwest, so that is who we typically book flights with first. The only time that we would typically go outside of Southwest is if your home airport does not offer Southwest. So for me, for example, my home airport does not offer Southwest, so I have to go with a different airline. But if you are closer to a major airport, or you do have Southwest at your regional airport, we do ask that you book with them or that we will book your accommodations with Southwest. And then double occupancy lodging is standard for Move United. So it is very likely that if you are attending an event for us that has other participants also attending, that you will be in a double occupancy lodging. There are some exceptions to this. If you are the only ambassador on site, for example, you might not be with another ambassador or another participant. You also sometimes have the availability to ask for a single room. Usually, this is at half of the cost to you. So, if you're interested in that, for example, if the hotel room is $100 a night, you would be responsible for $50 per night if you requested that single room lodging and were approved. It's not always that we can accommodate single room lodging, but we do our best to accommodate it when we can. And then caregiver policy. If a caregiver is approved to attend an event, they are obligated to pay for all of their expenses, flight, room, board, etc. We understand that some of you have caregivers and we do not want to prohibit them from attending, but we also cannot always accommodate the expenses for that caregiver. So those usually do fall onto you or the caregiver themselves. Ambassador office hours, these are held monthly on Zoom. This is a great time to connect with the member services team, ask any questions that you have, get some real-time answers. You do not have to stay on for the entire time. Sometimes these are one-on-one, other times there can be multiple people on the office hours that generally have the same question. So it's nice to be able to get a consensus with everyone on the call, but you are not obligated to attend these. They are optional. They'll be updated in the member hub with a reminder sent to you all, like the one that came out today, so that you know when to expect the office hours if you want to drop by. And then you can absolutely log these towards your yearly engagements. So make sure that if you are attending an ambassador office hours, that you also log that in the engagement activity. Excuse me. On the flip side of that, ambassador trainings also held monthly on Zoom at an alternative time to the office hours. This is a great time to get educated about topics. If there's something that you want to learn about or you feel passionate about and you want to present to the ambassadors about, we would be happy to have you do an ambassador training and get that experience. If you have a recommendation of a topic, please just email us and let us know. We do our best to plan everything in advance, but we want to train you all on things that you want to learn about. So we could sit here all day and I could tell you what I think is good for you, and you may disagree on all points. So, again, if you have any recommendations, we're happy to take those into consideration and make sure that you're getting the training on those topics. Excuse me. Similarly to the ambassador office hours, the dates and topics are TBD right now and will be updated on the member hub once available. Everyone's favorite, new gear. We have a t-shirt coming your way, so if you could please confirm your size, if it has changed from the last year, or if you are a new ambassador, if your size has changed since you submitted your ambassador application, please just send me an email and let me know that your size has changed. You'll also be getting some Warfighter materials and giveaways. This will include some printed materials that you can give out to people, as well as some promo items like the paracord bracelets, stickers, etc., what we have in the office. We're hoping to have all of this out to you all by March. Don't hold your breath. If it does not get to you by then, we will get it to you though. And then new ambassadors, you will be getting a backpack with some gear in it as your onboarding materials. So stay tuned for that. If your address has changed recently and you have not communicated that with us, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll be using the address that we have on file for you. We try to give you all new gear at least once a year, sometimes more if we have it within our budget and we have the items in stock in our office. But at least once a year, we do try to provide you all with some new gear so that you have something to go out and represent in the community with. Okay, questions before we get into the member hub? Okay, Amanda, if I have a couple events next month, would I be able to ask for materials now and then make it here before the middle of February? Yes, absolutely. So you can submit the materials request form. That'll go to Dr. K. She's in our Rockville office and she does all of our shipping right now. Once we hire the Warfighter ambassador position person, they will be sending all of the materials to you. But yes, if you can submit your form in advance, that really helps us. Especially if we're getting a lot of requests at one time, we need to make sure that we can get it all out to you. And then, with shipping and receiving, you never know if things can get lost or they get delivered to the wrong address. So we want to make sure that you all get what you need in a timely fashion before your event actually comes. So yeah, absolutely, Amanda, please submit that. Any other questions yet? Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to just stop sharing this for a moment. And I'm going to take you all through the member hub. Okay. Okay, so this is the Move United member hub. This is what it looks like after you log in. You may have some um, notifications on your home screen here. The first one says complete individual membership. You will see this flag if you have not completed your code of conduct, if your premium membership has expired, or if there's an action that's needed on your account. So you'll be able to click that and update your member profile. I'm not going to do that right now just to save time because I want to show you all some other things, but just know that you should complete your individual membership and whatever task it's assigning to you. And then secondly, if you're already enrolled in Safe Sport through Move United, you'll see, and you need to renew it, you'll see a complete Safe Sport trained on your account. Once you click this, it will take you directly to the Safe Sport certification that you can complete directly on the hub. And then once you complete your Safe Sport certification, it will update your Member Hub profile account saying that you are in good standing. So again, if you see complete Safe Sport trained on here and you know that you have not completed your Safe Sport yet, please go ahead and do that. If you have a valid Safe Sport certification, just send that over to us via email. You can send it directly to me and we'll update your account so that this can get removed. As you scroll down, there are a few tiles here. You may not see each of these tiles. I have administrative access, which means I have access to some tiles that you may not see or that are not live right now. So for example, this Ski Spectacular tile is not live because Ski Spec has passed, but for some reason it still likes to show up on my profile. So don't be alarmed if you don't see all of these on your profile, but you should absolutely see the ambassador tile that says Move United Warfighters Ambassadors. If you don't see this on your homepage, please let me know because that means there's an error and we need to do some type of maneuvering on your account so we can get this showing. But you should all have access to this. So when you click on the ambassador tile on the home page, there are three options here that we talked about earlier. Number one, grants. Number two, education. And number three, forms and surveys. So grants, this is where you can find the current Warfighters Mentor Project application if you're interested in applying for this. As you scroll down, the fillable boxes are toward the bottom. So you can fill this information out, scroll all the way to the bottom, click save, and that's how your application will get submitted to us. At the top of the application, this is where you can find all of the details about the actual project, some project ideas, and what's included in the $1,000 scholarship. If we go back, there's an education tile here. This includes courses, instructions, and pre-recorded ambassador trainings. So all of our ambassador trainings, including this one, get recorded and they get uploaded to this pre-recorded ambassador trainings. That way, if you can't attend a session live, you can go back and watch one of these pre-recorded sessions and log that as your yearly ambassador engagements. So we try to make it super simple, super easy to access for you all. So that if you can't make the time, which we completely understand that not everyone can be here at the same time, that you can go back and you can watch any of these at any time and log that for your yearly ambassador engagements. Instructions, these are just some scribe instructions, which are step-by-step instructions that can tell you if you ever forget how to access something, where to find the information. So, for example, if you ever forgot after this training how to submit your ambassador yearly engagements, you can go to this instructions section of the member hub and you can click on how to submit Warfighter Ambassador yearly engagements, and it will take you step by step through the process of submitting that. And then again, how you could access the Ambassador private group on the hub, which I will show you in a second. The instructions are here. If you ever need any instructions that you don't see on here, please just send me an email. I'm happy to walk you through, I'm happy to create those instructions and post them on here for everyone to access. Hey, Adam.
So while we're in here, I actually have a couple or a question. There's a couple of the courses I can't complete. Um, Specifically, insights for teaching yoga to veterans, integrating mind-body principles into the therapeutic relationship, introducing mind-body insights into the rehabilitation process. Um, those three, if you go into the course, it opens up like a YouTube or like a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a box underneath. I've watched all of the videos, and I can't even type anything into the boxes to like complete those. So I don't
Hmm.
know if it's something on my end, but
Let's see. Is this under the education courses?
it is in correct.
Okay, and can you tell me the name of one of them again?
The first one is insights for teaching yoga to veterans,
Okay, let's see.
and then the other three are integrating mind-body principles into therapeutic relationship, introducing mind-body insights into the rehabilitation process.
Let's see. Okay, let me do some digging on this and see if there's a way that it will show that you've completed it.
There was a course that was similar where I watched the video and then I was able to like type in the box like my comment or my thoughts or whatever on what I watched, and then I was able to like submit,
Mm-hmm.
and it like marked off that I completed that specific course. But these three, like I can't even like type in anything in the box to then submit it. Like it just like I'm able to watch the video, I'm not able to proceed from there.
Yeah, and mine isn't even opening the video, so this might be a larger conversation with our education team about why some of them are not working. If you could send me an email with the names of the three courses that you just mentioned, the Insights for Teaching Yoga to Veterans and the other two, the therapeutic relationship, then I will pass that on to our education team and see if there's something specific we need to do on our end so that you can get credit for those. Um, but even if it doesn't show on your profile, as long as you completed everything, you can still log that for your yearly engagements. That won't affect that because it's just a form. But I understand that it's annoying that it should be on your profile as completed and it's not.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, taking a step back, what Adam was just talking about is our education hub, which is on the Move United hub here. It's the education tile on the home screen. And there are a plethora of education courses that you can click on and go through. If you click on it, it will give you a description of the actual course and ask you if you want to enroll. And then once you enroll, you'll be able to have access to the specific course material. Some of these courses, so USOPC coaching courses, for example, are courses created by the US Olympic and Paralympic Committee that we share with them on our platform. So you can take these USOPC courses for free through our member hub and our agreement with the USOPC, or any of the other ones that might be of interest to you. And then same with the premium courses. As soon as you have premium membership, if you don't already, you'll have access to those courses as well. So you can always find that on the home screen of your page, but back to the ambassador page here. If there's any instructions that you all need, let me know. I'm happy to work through that with you. And then there is a Warfighter Ambassador onboarding course. If you'd like to take this, this provides some information and background on the Warfighter program, what your role is, and how we support you in this role. So I encourage you to take a look at that if you're curious and you want to take some knowledge away from that. And then finally, the forms and surveys section of the Ambassador Hub here. Under the forms section, this is where you'll find the ambassador materials request that I was talking about earlier. So Amanda, if you want to submit this or anyone else who needs ambassador materials, you'll fill out this information, you click save, and then that will come to us and you can fill this out as many times as you need to for whatever materials that you need to. Excuse me, if there are multiple locations that you need things sent to, so for example, last year, folks attended the Hartford Nationals and then they attended, track and field nationals immediately after. So you may have needed some materials sent to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then you might need some materials sent directly to, Eugene, Oregon, right? For example, you can put the primary address here, and then you can list the additional information here that will tell us, I actually need this sent here and this sent here. Or you can fill out two forms and when you need the materials by. So just let us know what you need, how you need it. We try to accommodate you as much as possible. If you just want everything sent to you at once and you can divvy it up at home and bring it with you, that's even better for us. But we want to make sure that we get you exactly what you need for the events that you'll be attending. So that's where this lives. And then the Expo event form that I mentioned earlier, there is a button that you can click that will open a separate window for the Expo event form. Again, we do not reach out to these folks. This is simply information that we pass on to the VA. But if you have someone that you want us to reach out to, you can click the Visit Outreach and Tracking form. This will open a separate window. And then these are the folks that we do contact, inviting them to participate in the Warfighters program. There are also a couple other forms on here, like the member organization feedback form. If you have any feedback to submit about a member organization, this would be what you would click on. Move United Warfighters grant reporting. If you are participating in the mentor project or the competition team, this is the form that you'll fill out to get reimbursed for the expenses that you had, as well as submit information on what activity you did you deem it successful, did you meet your objectives, etc., etc. And then lastly, we do have a general Move United reimbursement form. Approval is needed before you submit this reimbursement form, but if there's any events outside of the mentor project or the competition team that you participate in that Move United has asked you to be a representative of, so for example, an expo, if we ask you to attend that, this is the form that you would submit to get reimbursed for your mileage, a per diem of $50 per day, any, if you had to fly, any baggage or rental car that we provided for you, this is the form that you would fill out. The main thing here is just make sure that you keep a copy of all of your receipts, and they do need to be itemized. So if there's anything that you purchase that we can't just have like a general amount on the receipt. So say you spent $100 on sports equipment at Dick's Sporting Goods. The receipt needs to say archery bows $100, Dick's Sporting Goods, and that's what you would submit to us. So just keep that in mind. Keep a copy of all of your receipts. Make sure they're itemized so that you can submit them to us because our CFO will ask for those itemized receipts. And that is pretty much it for the forms. Any questions about the ambassador tile? I know we didn't talk about the yearly engagements forms yet. I'm going to get there in 1 second. And Shane, I see your question. Is there a way to add a picture to my Move United profile? Tried 100 ways. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm willing to look and see if we can do that for you. Okay, to find the yearly engagements activity on the home screen of your member profile or on your app, you'll click your name or the 3 lines in the top right-hand corner and click My Account. As you scroll down, you'll see that this says Premium Membership and More Details. You can click More Details. Wait, sorry, let me go back for a second. You're going to click Certification. So on the left-hand side here, it says Certifications. This is where you find your Safe Sport certification. So if you need more information about this, you can find it here. And then it will say required, yes or no. And then it will, if you scroll down, it will tell you exactly what's needed, what your status is, if you've taken the course, if it's expired, or if it's up to date. And then right underneath that, if you're not enrolled in Safe Sport, you won't see anything here. Right underneath that is the Warfighter Ambassadors Yearly Engagement Form. You can see this expires on January 1st, 2027, and right now I have not started this. So when you click on more details directly below that black box, it will give you a description of what's expected, which we already talked about. It will give you your status. In this case, I've not started this. It will tell you when you were enrolled, which is January 1st of 2026, and when it expires, which is January 1st, 2027. Technically, it expires December 31st of 2026 at midnight, but for these purposes, it will say January 1, 2027. Once you have a submission to submit, you'll click Add Submission, and this will bring you to the Warfighter Ambassador Engagement and Interaction form. If you've previously submitted any engagements, which I have just as a test here, you'll see those here. Okay, these were for the prior year. You can see the dates that I submitted them, what I put for some of the columns, and then you will click Add Submission. If you've not submitted anything before, you won't see those submissions. It will just bring you directly to this form. You put your name, your email, what specifically you attended within this realm. So for today, for example, if you're following along, you would click January Ambassador Training. If you want to provide any additional information or pictures of what you did, your table, the sport that you played or interacted with, you're welcome to write a little excerpt here. And then down here, you can add any images that you have from the event. Sometimes we'll share these on our social media. Sometimes we'll share them in our newsletter. So just know that by including the images on here, you are giving us permission to also share these externally with our membership. And then you would click save, and then you would see a submission underneath this submission date, first name, etc. down here. You will need to submit the form 5 times to be able to access the certification. So once you submit all 5 of your engagements, it will mark your certification as complete. So again, you'll go up to your name in the right-hand corner or those 3 lines that look like a hamburger on your app. Click certifications, more details, and then at the bottom here, it will say that your status is completed and it will allow you to download a certificate saying that you completed your yearly engagements for this year. Once you get that certification, you are good to go in terms of logging items for us. We'll let you know if your safe sport or your background check is out of date. But other than that, this is the yearly ambassador engagements form, and the instructions are on that ambassador tile under forms and surveys so that you can find exactly what you need if you ever forget how to do this. But any questions so far about anything that we've talked about? Okay. Shane, I'm going to look into if you can add a profile picture. I don't know that you can, um, but I will look into that and see if that's an option. Otherwise, I'm happy to hang around for a few minutes if anyone has any questions. Again, this is being recorded, so once it is branded by our marketing and communications team, I will have it uploaded onto the member hub for you all to refer back to. And as always, feel free to reach out if you need anything at all. I'm here to help. I want to make sure that you all have a great experience and can answer any questions that you all need. So, thanks so much for showing up. I hope you have a great day, a great week, and that we see you again next time. Thanks so much.